An Israeli court has cancelled testimony by Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu scheduled for this week in his long-running corruption trial. Netanyahu had requested the court excuse him from giving evidence over the next 2 weeks, citing diplomatic and national security issues. The decision was made hours after US President Donald Trump said the case should be dropped. Trump claimed it's undermining Netanyahu's ability to negotiate a ceasefire in Gaza. And Trump has also signalled his determination to achieve a ceasefire and secure the release of Israeli captives still held in Gaza. Earlier on Sunday, he posted on his Truth Social account, "Make the deal in Gaza, get the hostages back." Now, Odeh reports from Jordan's capital, Amman. She's there because the Israeli government has banned Al Jazeera from reporting inside Israel and the occupied West Bank.
The Israeli Prime Minister will convene a mini-cabinet meeting this evening in order to discuss regional developments as well as the prospects of a ceasefire in Gaza. This is, of course, prompted by Donald Trump's repeated calls for Israel to reach a deal, to end the war in Gaza and release the captives. Of course, a lot of things are happening here at the same time. One is that the Israeli government, for example, has told the residents of southern communities in Israel that they need to return home and rebuild by the end of the month. No compensation would be issued for people deciding to stay away. The families of Israeli captives have said that is an indication that it's safe to go back to the southern communities and that the objectives of the war have been met. And so Benjamin Netanyahu should go for a deal and release the remaining Israeli captives. Donald Trump also said that the trial, the corruption charges against Benjamin Netanyahu should be done away with. They should be cancelled. This was seen as intervention by many, but it has prompted a lot of debate. Benjamin Netanyahu rallying the courts for a 2-week suspension of the hearings. He got one, but that may be enough for him to move forward, as he told the judges this would be a dramatic week for Israel. Nour, Al Jazeera. Amman.
Alon Pinkas is a former Israeli diplomat and columnist for the independent newspaper in the UK. He joins us from Tel Aviv. Good to see you, Alon. I wonder if we can start with a little bit of brief background, if possible. Netanyahu faces 3 charges of corruption, correct? Fraud and breach of trust. Can you briefly remind us of what these charges are actually about?
Yes, good to be with you, Neve. In 2017, the Israeli police, backed by the state prosecution, began investigating 4 rather than 3, the 3 indictments that you correctly pointed to. But initially it was 4 distinct investigations. One was about the purchase of submarines from Germany and Mr. Netanyahu's involvement. The Attorney General at the time said that Mr. Netanyahu was not directly involved and declined to press any charges or to formulate or craft an indictment. The other 3, for which he's standing trial since 2018 until this very day, one is called Dossier 1000, according to which he received hundreds of thousands, allegedly, hundreds of thousands of dollars in all kinds of gifts, cigars, and jewelry for his wife, and cases of pink champagne. But there was a quid pro quo apparently with the people who provided those, because they had businesses in Israel and they asked for favors, pay to play sort of. The second, called Dossier 2000, was about his attempts to collude with the editor of Israel's largest or highest circulation daily, Yediot Ahronot, against his own mentor at the time, his own political benefactor, Sheldon Adelson, who put out at Netanyahu's behest a newspaper that's given out for free called Israel Today, Israel Hayom in Hebrew. And so he was trying to manipulate the media. Dossier 3000, that's the submarines, never matured into an indictment. And then comes the most important one, or the most problematic one. The easiest to prove is Dossier 1000. But that wouldn't carry necessarily a punishment that would result in jail time.
Right.
Dossier 4000 is more problematic.
Okay.
In it, It involves regulation of the media and media companies and telecommunications.
Okay, Alon, I think it's really, really important to set the scene, obviously, so that obviously our viewers know exactly what Netanyahu faces. In any normal, healthy democracy, this would be hugely, hugely damaging for the head of a government. But his legal team argue he's basically too busy and too important. Too busy with important things to stand trial. He's compelled to devote all of his time and energy to managing national diplomatic and security issues of the utmost importance. Well, that's the quote. What incentive is there for Netanyahu to pursue lasting peace if one of the consequences is potentially jail?
Oh, nothing. He has no incentive. And Niamh, I have to say, you put your finger right on the issue here, right on the point, right on the critical point here, because when the trial began in 2018 and 2019, and then again in 2022, Netanyahu lost the election in 21 and then regained an election in 22. Israel had a series of 5 election cycles in those 3 years. In 2022, there were appeals to the Supreme Court claiming that Netanyahu must be excused from office because he cannot conceivably run a country replete with so many problems and so many decisions and deal with his trial. Netanyahu's claim at the time was, no problem, I could do both. And the Supreme Court decided in his favor, saying that legally there's no reason to exercise any kind of suspension or any kind of ouster from office legally on the grounds that he cannot do both things. Now he's saying, basically he's saying, which is how we began our discussion, Niamh, please exempt me from appearing in the cross-examination of my own trial because I have a crisis situation, because it's a dramatic week, because we're attacking Iran, because there's a war in Gaza.
Okay, Alon, hypothetically speaking now, how long can Benjamin Netanyahu really put this off going to trial? That's a very good question, and I beg forgiveness from the viewers if my answer is going to confuse them somewhat. Supposedly he cannot. Yes, he got the 3 judges to postpone his testimony by 1 week, meaning that next week he's supposed to go back to the Tel Aviv Municipal Court to testify or to be subject to the cross-examination. However, his office today leaked out that he's going to Washington on a very dramatic, very sensitive, very timely, very critical visit to see Donald Trump. So if that is true, and I assume it is, and I assume it's coordinated with Mr. Trump, then he won't testify the week after as well. On the 21st of July, which is 3 weeks away, Niamh, and which is where I beg the viewers' forgiveness for all this information. On the 21st of July, the court system is on recess. By the time it gets back, we're already heading toward the Jewish high holidays of New Year and Yom Kippur and Sukkot and so on and so on. So basically, my answer to you is hypothetically, he cannot. Practically, for months, he can go on postponing. So hypothetically, this has been designed to delay the process potentially for a long period. A very, very last quick question to you, because we know that if he's found guilty, he could face jail time. But what would happen if he's acquitted or the case is dropped? What would it mean for him politically and personally? Very briefly, if you may.
Oh, that would be a huge monumental triumph. Because he's been claiming from day one that he's been framed, that the deep state is persecuting him, that the deep state is out to get him, that the elites hate him, that these are bogus charges, that it's been inflated by the judicial elite, backed by the media elite, backed by the academic elite in order to bring him down because they don't like him politically. If the cases are dropped or he is acquitted, by the way, an acquittal means that the trial goes on to its very end, exhausts itself. That's 3 years from now. What he's hoping is for some kind of a deal to lessen the charges. But I'd be venturing into very speculative waters here.
Okay. Alan, good to hear your thoughts. Many thanks for walking us through all of that. Really important details to get. Alon Pinkas there.
Thank you.
Don't miss out. Get the full picture. Subscribe to Al Jazeera for reliable news and expert insights. Like, share, stay ahead.